Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the Mighty Jingles. In today's audio-visual extravaganza, we have a Tier 8 encounter battle here on the Ensk map, starring Hound's Chicken, in the French Tier 8. Now, I refuse to call this thing a heavy tank. The AMX 5100, the French Tier 8 Fat Medium. Do you know how many French Tier 8 heavy tanks there are in the game? There are 7. 5 of them are premiums. Premiums are actually pretty good. And I'm not saying the AMX 5100 is bad, but it is not a heavy. The AMX 65T is the only non-premium French Tier 8 heavy tank in the game. This is a medium with diet issues. This is a medium tank that's constantly dodging the salads. I have a long, complicated and very difficult history with the AMX 5100. See, when this thing was first introduced into the game, and yes, it was a very, very long time ago, I was really looking forward to it. And because the French heavies leading up to it were all kind of eh. And many, many World of Tanks players, way, way better than me, raved about this machine. They all loved it. But I just couldn't get to grips with this thing at all. It wasn't because of the speed, because the mobility is actually really good. Although its concealment leaves a fair bit to be desired. I mean, I keep calling this thing a fat medium, but it definitely doesn't have medium tank concealment. The armour, of course, is just catastrophically bad. It has 90mm at the front, and, well, unless you're pulling back around a corner at a 45-degree angle and somebody ricochets something off your turret front or upper glacis, the armour isn't going to protect you from anything. The side armour is only 35mm, and the top armour is only 20. This thing eats artillery high explosive like you wouldn't believe. Ironically, Hound's Chicken is actually doing the Heavy Tank 12 mission for the T-55A. Sturdy armour. He's not getting that mission done in this tank. The firepower, however, it is very good. Reasonable accuracy, 0.35 dispersion, 1800 potential burst damage from this 6-shot 100mm autoloader. Think about that for a second. I mean, assuming it hits and penetrates, and it should because the accuracy is alright, and it has 232mm of penetration. But if this thing hits and penetrates with every shot it fires, it's going to do 1800 damage. One shot every about 2.7 seconds. The tank itself only has 1400 hit points. I mean, this thing is a burst damage monster. But it comes with a huge drawback, and that's the reload. When you've fired all 6 shots from this thing, or if you haven't fired all 6 shots and you figure, I don't have much left, I'm going to go for a reload, you don't get an awful lot of change out of a minute reloading this drum. If you go through 5 reloads in this thing during the course of a battle, that means you've spent a third of the battle sitting around waiting for your gun to load. Now, fortunately for Hound's Chicken, the 45TP, who had him completely at its mercy there while he was reloading, got scared off by the T150 and the IS-2 who put a couple of shots into it. Hound's Chicken is about reloaded, and he can obviously finish off the 45TP here, but he hesitates. I mean, the 45TP, if he goes around the corner, is going to hit him. The Indian Panzer on the other side of the square also hits him. And then a shot comes in from artillery and finishes off the 45TP. See, his hesitation there did nothing but cost him health. And he didn't get anything out of it. He's lost almost half of his health, he's done slightly less than 1000 damage. You see, because this thing doesn't have any armour, but does have this huge burst damage potential, you kind of have to get used to trading health for damage. Because your armour isn't going to stop anybody from shooting at you. What's going to stop them from shooting at you is you killing them with that 1800 potential burst. See, the thing about these French autoloaders, and the AMX 5100 is an extreme example because it has easily the longest reload of any of the French autoloaders, is they are fantastic machines for flanking. They are fantastic machines for assaulting. You charge in, bang, 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 bang. Yeah, that was 6, just checking. Dead enemy tanks all around you. You took damage, but you can dish it out more than they can. Unfortunately, now you're reloading. So This machine is great for getting flanking shots and sniping kills like that. It's fantastic for rushing a position, but what it cannot do is hold ground, because the enemy team just count your shots and then you're helpless for the next basically 50 seconds while you sit waiting for this 100mm drum to reload. Now at this stage of the battle, I think it's probably fair to say, and I hope Pound's Chicken wouldn't object too much if I do, because I am going to say it, he really does need to start pulling his weight, making his presence felt, because he is by far the biggest potential damage dealer on his team. His team are lagging behind 9 kills to 12, okay, 10 kills to 12, but they're still outnumbered. There's only 3 of them left, and he still hasn't even done the potential damage output of a single magazine load, which is 1800 damage, and he's only done 1600, well, nearly 1700, but still, considering the amount of health that he's had to trade, because that's what you do in this thing, you trade health for damage, and the amount of health that he's had to trade to do that amount of damage is nowhere near good enough. Now of course he's reloaded, which means the S74 and the IS2 are basically on their own. This reload, this is what broke me on this tank. I just couldn't get to grips with it. Sitting around for nearly a minute every time you press the reload button. I ended up free XP in my way to the AMX 5120 at tier 9 after about half a dozen battles played in this thing. Certainly nowhere near enough battles to get used to it, but I just couldn't handle it. And I loved the AMX 5120 at tier 9. Bigger gun, bigger alpha damage, faster reload. Less shots in the magazine, of course, but that was a trade-off I was entirely happy to put up with. Faster reload for 1 less shot? Yes, where do I sign? And the AMX 50B at tier 10, amazing machine. Okay, he's killed the someone. I mean, that cost them the S74, there's just him in the IS2, he's got 4 shots left. But I have to admit, this is precisely the sort of situation where this tank excels. A whole bunch of enemies on low hit points, all charging you one at a time. There's one, there was a bounce, but 1 more shot did it, and it's going to take 1 more shot to finish. There it is. And just as quickly as that, that's what happens when you rush an AMX 5100 and you're all on low health. It kills you. It's now 2 on 2. Although the IS2 has taken beating. We've got 1 shot left. Puts it into the Tiger, and now the IS2 is 100% on its own for the next 47.8 seconds. And that is the downside, because there's nothing you can do. Great teamwork there between the Tiger 131 and the enemy Su-8 artillery, finishing off the IS2 because it was the only active threat. There's nothing that Hound's Chicken can do until he gets this magazine reloaded. And of course, the artillery is going to reload, there it is, faster than he is, so he needs to go undetected. Yeah, and with 20mm of top armour, you take a lot of damage from artillery in this machine. So now he's got to stop and think long and hard about what he wants to do. I wouldn't go around that side. You get spotted around that side, artillery is going to hit you, and then Tiger 131 is going to hit you. If you'd gone around the other side, you would have been artillery safe. But you wouldn't have been Tiger 131 safe. See, he's got 240-ish hit points left, and Tiger 131's 88, there he is. Oh, you're just begging to get hit by artillery here. Tiger 131's 88 can do 220 average damage, so it wouldn't need to get a particularly high damage roll. Yep, there's the artillery, in order to one-shot you. Now, his 100mm gun does 300 average damage, so he can absolutely one-shot Tiger 131. But the Tiger only has to get 1 shot off and might kill him, and the artillery only has to get 1 shot off and probably will kill him. The better idea, and this is exactly what he's doing, is to not get spotted by Tiger 131 and wait to eat another artillery shell. If he continues trying to respot the Tiger, he's going to have to fight both of them at the same time. You don't have to fight both of them at the same time. The Tiger knows you can one-shot him. He's not in any rush to go looking for you. He's going to sit there waiting for you. And if he has any sense, he'll be doing it in a spot where artillery can assist him. It's far safer. Not safe, but it is far, far safer and wiser to leave the Tiger guessing and use the mobility of this machine to go looking for the artillery instead. The Su-8 has a 152mm howitzer, and the high explosive shells have 38mm of penetration, and the top armour on the engine deck behind the turret there only has 20mm. You don't need to be a genius at mathematics to figure out that those numbers don't add up. So in order to deny the Su-8 the chance of landing a shot on his top armour, he disengages from Tiger 131, so the Tiger isn't going to spot him, and he's going to close into shotgun range for the Su-8, which of course is going to be sitting in the corner of the map up here, because they always are. But this means that even if the Su-8 gets a shot off, he's going to take it on his 90mm of frontal armour. Yep, Su-8 spots him. There it is, it's in the bush. He gets the first shot off, it's not good enough. Even through the 90mm of frontal armour, he still took 218 damage. You see why, I mean he's only got 31 hit points left, but you can see why it was so vital that he not fight the Su-8 and the Tiger at the same time. 4 rounds of 100mm armour piercing left. No need to go for a reload here. These shots will do 300 average damage. The Tiger has less health than that. Even a low damage roll will be enough to one-shot him. The thing is, when you've got 31 hit points, a tier 1 light tank could kill you in this thing, as long as it doesn't hit your frontal armour. And the Tiger can kill him, even if it does hit his frontal armour. Because, oh, and he's been spotted. Oh, no. But no shot came in. So, if the Tiger was hiding in the bushes on the field over there, he would have shot at him, but no shot came in, which means, Hound's Chicken, you're looking in the wrong direction. He spotted you from over, yes, from over there, which means the second the Su-8 spotted him, shotgunned him, nearly killed him, the Tiger headed off in pursuit. And it must have just caught a glimpse of him, just for a fraction of a second through the buildings over here, which would be the only reason why the Tiger wasn't able to take a shot. But the Tiger saw him heading south. And now he's turned around and he's heading back north. The thing is, it's impossible to predict what the Tiger's going to have done, because he might be coming around the corner in pursuit, or he might be heading back through the town to cut him off. You just don't know. They're not going to know until they re-spot each other. And it's going to come down to whoever gets the first shot off. Unfortunately, the Tiger's 88 has a better aiming time. Oh, there he is. No, the Tiger fluffed the shot. He didn't want to get hit. Well, he didn't get hit by the next 2 return shots. Not all of these buildings you can actually shoot through. Right, Hound's Chicken, calm yourself. 2 shots left. You cannot afford to go through a reload here. You have to make at least one of them count. There it is. Oh man, that was close. 31 hit points. Ended up being 30 more than he needed. Hound's Chicken in the AMX 5100. A tank that I really, really don't like. Although, I do have to concede that doesn't mean it's bad. Because it isn't a bad tank. Many World of Tanks players way, way better than I am do nothing but sing the praises of this machine. I just couldn't get my head around that. Nearly 50-second reload. But Hound's Chicken, despite, and you know, if we're being brutally honest here, and I hope he won't object too much, despite what was a fairly bad start, when the chips came down and he needed to keep his cool under a situation where a lot of players would have panicked and fluffed it, he stayed calm, realised what it was he needed to do, came up with a plan to do it, and even though it nearly killed him anyway, it was absolutely the only possible way he was going to come out of that one alive. So congratulations. I do hope you're enjoying the AMX 5100. God knows I didn't, but I guarantee if you like this thing, you're going to absolutely love the AMX 5120. It's not a great tank, but it's a lot easier to use. And the damage output is terrifying. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed watching today's battle here on the Ensk map, starring Hound's Chicken in the AMX 5100. The big fat French tier 8 medium tank that ate all the pies. As always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.